Hey, what's going on, guys? Mr. Flores here. And if you watched the last video, you would know that we graphed linear equations using standard form. Just a quick recap. Standard form is the equation of ax plus by equals to c, where a, b, and c are all integers, which means they can't be fractions. Okay, so we have an equation of standard form here. It's 3x plus 4y equals 12. Now, in order to graph using standard form, the easiest way is to find an x-intercept, plot the point, find the y-intercept, plot the point, and then graph from there. So, if we remember, every x-intercept follows the same kind of pattern. The x value is whatever the value is on the x-axis we're intercepting, and the y value is always going to be 0. And if you watch the last video, that's because of whenever you cross the x-axis, your y value is going to be 0 since the x-axis goes to the origin. And if you're going left or right along the x-axis, you're not rising or falling at all, so your y value is not going to change. So in order to find the x-intercept, you're going to substitute 0 in for y. So it's 3x plus 4 times 0 equals 12. 4 times 0 is 0. You're left with 3x is equal to 12. Okay. Then you want to divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 4. Okay. But then again, we have to remember that when you're talking about an intercept, you're actually talking about a coordinate or a point. So your actual x-intercept is going to be 4, 0. All right. Now we're going to go over to our y. Again, every y-intercept has the same pattern that the x value is going to be 0 and your y value is just some value. Okay. Whatever your y comes out to be. So again, just like when we do the x-intercept, the y-intercept, the only difference is you substitute a 0 in for x, and then you're going to solve for y. So 3 times 0 is 0. It comes out to 4x. Not 4x. 4y is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 4. And y is equal to 3. Okay? But again, we don't care that y is 3. We want to know that our y-intercept is 0, 3. Alright? Now, the good thing is, oops, I got to scroll up a little bit. We have our x-intercept of 4, 0. We have our y-intercept of 0, 3. What we're going to do now is, since we have 2 points, in order to make a line, all we have to do is plot 1 point. So 4, 0, I'm going to go to x of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and y is 0. Plot that there. Then we're going to go to y of 3, x of 0, since it's 0, 3. We're going to go there. Now in order to plot your line, it's not very straight. That's actually terrible. But you guys get the point. In order to graph a equation using standard form, find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept, plot them, and graph it. Okay? That's all you have to do. So what we're going to do today in this video is we are going to be taking an equation to start from standard form, and we're going to turn it into another form which is everyone's favorite, which is actually one of the most useful forms in slope intercept form. Okay, and again, what that means, and the name of the equation is very, very helpful because it's slope intercept. It gives us a slope and it gives us the y-intercept. So if you guys remember from your younger years back in algebra 1 and even geometry, which you should have taken last year, or you might be taking it right now, your equation is y equals mx plus b. Okay, and the two things we really need to pay attention to is our m, which is the slope, and the b, which is our y-intercept. Okay, so there we have it, y equals mx plus b. What you notice is the only difference between standard form and slope-intercept form is that in standard form, the y and the x are on the left side of the equation, and they're all integers, a, b, and c. Slope-intercept form, you solve for y, and you're allowed to have fractions for m and b. All right. So if we're solving this equation for y, what we want to do is first get everything that is not part of the y term to the right side. So we have a 4y, we need to get rid of our 3x. Since it's a positive 3x, I'm going to subtract it. Okay, so these cancel, and you're left with 4y is equal to, we can't combine a negative 3x and a 12 because they're not similar terms, they're not like terms. So I'm just going to write negative 3x plus 12. Because our equation, the x term always comes first and then the constant, so that's just how I'm going to write it, so we stay with the same notation. Okay, so we have 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Now, we just need to get y all by itself, so we're going to divide by 4. Make sure we divide every single term by 4. All right. A lot of times kids forget to divide the constant term also by 4. So our equation is going to be y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. Okay? Because 3/4 is negative 3/4 x plus 3. Because 12 divided by 4 is 3. All right. Now, in order to graph this problem, we need to find out the slope, which I'll denote as m, and the b, which is our y-intercept. Okay, so if we look here, our b is going to be 3, and our slope is negative 3/4. Since we know that the slope is negative, we know that if when we graph our line, it's going to be falling. Okay, one of the biggest things kids run into is that they graph lines, but they don't really pay attention to the way their slope is working. So if you have a positive slope and your graph is falling, you know you graphed it wrong, or you found the wrong slope. But that's one of the easiest ways you can tell if you graphed it correctly or incorrectly. Okay, so now when you graph these, the first thing to do is your y-intercept is your b technically. So we know that b is equal to 3, but we all know that your y-intercept is an actual point, and the x is always 0. Whatever b is equal to, that's actually the y portion of the coordinate. Okay, and this is the first point you always want to plot. So when we graph this, we're going to be at 0, 0, and we're going to do 0, 3. So we go up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's our first point. Now, one of the, biggest misconceptions kids get is that they never really know when this is negative how to graph this. Because if you remember, our slope is rise over run. Okay, what I like to do, and I have my kids, is whatever your positive number is, or whatever your numerator is, the rise, always go up that, since that's rising. So 3, from my point, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be right here. Okay, then the run, we can either run left if it's negative, or we can run right if it's positive. Since we're going to have a 4, we're going to be moving either left 4 or right 4 from this point right here. Since it's negative, we're going to be running to the left. So you run 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are our 2 points. And we can now plot a line. Oops, I was supposed to plot a line. And that's going to be our line. That's our graph. Okay, we went through both our points, and there we go. That's all it comes down to when you're graphing using slope-intercept form. You want to find out what your b is, find out what your slope is, plot your y-intercept, do rise over run from that point, and you're good. All right. So the next problem is, again, I'll just do another example. So it's going to come out to, I'll pick y equals 5/2 x minus 4. Okay, so again, you want to find out what is our slope of m, what is our b, because that'll give us our y-intercept, and that's the first thing you really need to tackle. So if you're going to look here, your m is going to be 5/2, since it's the coefficient of x. Make sure it's a positive, so you write positive. And then your b is going to be -4. Okay, what I like to do right away is, since we know that our b is our y-intercept, a lot of kids think, well, the y-intercept is -4, which correlates or goes into that the coordinate of the y-intercept is going to be 0, -4. Once you find these two things, you can just graph it. All right. So again, like I said in the last video, the first thing we're going to do is plot your y-intercept. So since it's 0, -4, again, start at the origin. We're not going left or right since the x is 0, but we are going down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where our first point's going to be. Now, again, the slope is rise over run. Okay? Again, since rise means to go up, always with your numerator, at least this is the way I do it, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. From your y-intercept, go up whatever your numerator is. Since our numerator is 5, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to be here at 0, 0, 1. Now, since our denominators are run, if it's a negative slope, you run to the left. If it's a positive slope, you run to the right. Since we have a 5/2 slope, which is positive, we're going to run to the right of 1, 2. Okay? Now we have our 2 points, and we can graph this. Oops, that was a little off. And there's your line, going through both your points. Again, it's very simple. Once you figure out what your v is, you figure out the m. That correlates to your slope and your y-intercept. You plot your y-intercept, then do your rise over run from your y-intercept using your slope. You have 2 points. And again, with anything on a graph, if you have 2 points, you can create a line. All right. Hopefully this video helps. I'm going to put another video out in this section to help you out with a little more graphing, some special type of graphing things. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know.